Brad, can you take anything out of the way you finished that game, or was just the fact that you did go over the lines to wipe out any positives?
Oh no, I don't think you ever completely wipe out the good from the bad. I mean, you've got to analyse it in its entirety, and but look, there's no doubt the overwhelming feeling is just, we're all gutted, and we're shattered for our fans, we're shattered, for our club, because it's a proud club and it's another close loss. So that's the reality of it. But look, we've said for a long time that, and I think we've proven that our best is pretty good, and we've taken it up to some really good sides in the past, but there's been a glaring weakness and a really huge issue in terms of halting opposition momentum. And it looked like in the third quarter that Carlton just were winning the ball. We couldn't get our hands on it. We couldn't get it forward. We were defending for, I reckon, 20 minutes straight. But today we were able to not only halt the momentum but shift it back the other way. So there's no doubt that's a step forward. But my belief in the playing group is no different tonight than it was a week ago. So, the confidence I've got in the characters of players that we've got representing our footy club is unshakable.
What did change at the start of the fourth after the third?
It sounds simplistic, but we started getting our hands on the ball a bit more. Contested possession is such an important statistic in modern footy, and we were able to start controlling the ball and controlling the contest. And I thought throughout the night that if we were able to give our forwards enough opportunity, they looked dangerous, and certainly dangerous enough to score. But I suppose we'd be sitting here under very different circumstances. I think that ball bounces up to Boomer Harvey 19 times out of 20, but it wasn't to be. But if you look back at the game and at the start, we had enough of the ball, we had enough shots. We probably had 13 or 14 shots there in the first quarter. We didn't take our chances, and to their credit, they did.
Learned something new from each of these close losses, or is it just a recurring theme?
I think this is a pretty different. The way the game unfolded is pretty different to some other losses, but no, I think. I mean, it sounds a little bit, again, simplistic, that the close losses have been for a variety of reasons. Unfortunately, it hasn't been one or two players that have been costing us. It's been different players on different occasions, because it's really easy for a coach if it's the same players over and over again. We just drop them and bring new guys in. This one we'll have a look at really closely in the review, and we'll lick our wounds. And this season is just unfolding in extraordinary circumstances for us, and it can be the making of us, or it can be the undoing of us. So we've got to make sure that it is the making of us. And if you do have great intestinal fortitude and character, you build on these things, and this could be a platform for us in the future. But it'll only be that if we make it.
How do you pick him up for the next 6 weeks?
It hasn't been an issue in my 4 years at North with the boys we've got. They sometimes they're too coachable. They follow instructions to the absolute letter, and that has been a challenge for us in game when circumstances change, because you can't call a timeout, and you want them to play a bit more instinctively. But no, they're all the intangibles that have been spoken about: heart, desire, endeavour, spirit. We've got that in spades.
What did you think of Lindsay Tom's performances that make you wonder what might have been the last
I suppose now that you've asked me the question, Bruce, it probably does. But I think he's just developing into just a super player. If he's not an all-Australian small forward, I don't know who is. I think he's just developing into an unbelievably good player, but more importantly, a reliable player. And we know every week what we're going to get from him, and I think even Lindsay himself would tell you that 2 or 3 or 4 years ago we couldn't say that about him. So he's just integral part of our football club, because he's grown enormously as a player. But if you met Lindsay 4 years ago and then compared him to now, he's unrecognisable off field as well. So he's just outstanding, and a great. It's probably something our whole club should look at the moment, because in some pretty dark hours and some gut-wrenching times, you can come through the other side with flying colours, and Lindsay's done that. And Betts, Garlett, Yarran were always dangerous tonight, but I thought Taylor Hine stuck to his task on Yarran extremely well. But Lindsay's elevated himself, I think, into the genuinely elite small forwards in the competition now.
Did you have to be hard in the mouth when Jack was carried off technically?
Yeah, because, you never know, do you, whether he rolled an ankle or what it was, but when it came up the line that it was an injury around the old fracture site in his leg, yeah, it's a concern, because he's a tough bloke, Jack Ziebell. And on Jack, I thought that he stood up today and tried to will us across the line, and Ben Cunnington as well. So, if we had 45 guys on our list with the stuff that Ben Cunnington and Jack Ziebell are made of, we'd be, almost unstoppable. But the word is that he's fine.
There was a moment, maybe just when he came back, where it appeared Zach Tui toe poked on knee, the spot that was injured. Did you catch it?
I didn't. But if you guys saw it, well, it is what it is. I don't think that's going to worry Jack too much, and Zach's probably lucky we're not playing in the 70s. Okay, thanks.